What up, what up? Welcome to the channel. This is a very spicy video. It's a very hot topic right now. So, in light of my DC rekindling, my love of this world, um, I watched Joker 1 and Joker Folie à Deux back to back for the first time. And here are my first impressions. They're okay. I'm just gonna say that I would not have watched these movies had I not recently finished Batman the Animated Series. It's because of that 10 out of 10 show that I got back into the world, and I was able to watch these two movies back to back. So I watched Joker 1 the night before I watched Folie à Deux. And this is not going to be a long review. I'm just going to get my general thoughts out there. And I think it's a different perspective because I didn't know all the discourse that was going on around these movies. I didn't know a lot about the production, behind the scenes bullshit that was going on. So I'm just going to go off of how I feel. And that's that. Please don't take it personal. I know it's tough to talk about, especially two. It's getting over hated right now. So I don't think it deserves all the hate, but it is not a good movie. But I still liked a lot of it. So let's talk about number one real quick. So let me talk about the story a little bit. I thought it was, a pretty simple story, right? A guy with some sort of mental illness is trying to live his life, and then he gets kicked down, kind of like a Harvey Dent, just gets kicked down one after the other by his little kids, took his sign, all this shit, and it just led to complete destruction, right? But I'm going to tell you one thing, though, about this whole movie. Joker is a villain, but you know who else is a villain? That motherfucker Randall. Randall? I don't know, bro. He kind of, he was sort of a catalyst. He was a bit of an enabler, even though he probably didn't know it, but I'm just kidding, dude. But yeah, I thought the movie was okay. I didn't think it was anything too crazy. The story was whatever. Zazie Beats, when Zazie showed up, I was like, okay, that's my girl right there. That's Domino. Yeah, I liked her performance. I liked the fact that Joker or Arthur Fleck kept having these fantasies. And so he thought, I was tripping out too, because when she was like, "Were you watching me that one day?" And then he's like, "Yeah." I was like, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much." I was like, "What?" I was like, "This is not real." But then I was like, "There's no way she acted like that." But it was all a fantasy, because when he showed up at her house, she's like, "Who the hell are you?" But yeah, I think Joker 1 was okay. If I had to give it a score, I give it a 7.5. Right, very enjoyable, very different, and apparently, uh, as I had been looking around after watching Folie à Deux, I started looking at what people were saying and stuff like that. Apparently, it's supposed to be a standalone movie, and if that's true, then that makes it even better. But the fact is, it's not a standalone movie. It's not. It's not. But one was pretty good. I think, even though the ending was ruined because TikTok, that ending is everywhere. Like, I've seen it before, so I wasn't too excited about that. There was no surprises. It was cool. Joaquin Phoenix as Joker, pretty spot on, man. It is a different take, which I'm happy about, because Joker has been in so many different renditions where he's kind of the same and it's kind of different. There's only a few times I can think of off the top of my head that I've been looking at in the animated world where he's kind of different. There's one where he has the dreadlock kind of look. He's a little different on that one. And there's also Under the Red Hood, when he's beating the crap out of Jason Todd. He's very older, and he's way more evil in that one. But yeah, I like when it's a different take, because Joker's been around forever. It's honestly, there's like a bit of an oversaturation of Batman stuff, and so when you see something different, it's cool. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to Joker 2, Fully Ado. So I'm going into spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, this is your warning. Da 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 da. Here you go. Don't watch the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, subscribe, all that stuff. But let's talk about Fully Ado. Now I knew it was gonna be a musical, and off of that, I knew it was kind of gonna suck. When I saw reviews coming out where audience people like even the audience score was bad, I knew it was gonna suck. So I went in there with low expectations. Just like when I watched One Piece Film Red, I knew it was gonna be a musical too, and I knew we weren't gonna have anything about Shanks, and I was right. So I met my expectations though, and I was ready to rock out, bro. I was ready to be like, yeah, I was ready for them to go like, because the transition is the key, right? Where I was ready for them to be talking and then be like, well, I had a feeling that you were gonna. I was ready to rock out, and you know what? I'm gonna say this, all right? I don't think it was a bad movie. It was not a good movie, but it wasn't bad. But I will say that the musical performances or whatever, they weren't that bad. Like I thought I was gonna be cringing. I was like, oh, what is it? Oh my god, why did they do that? But there was a couple of them that I actually really liked. Um, it was like the joke is on me, that one, and then somewhere in the beginning where he's talking about I finally have someone who loves me. Now I gotta say this too, because Joaquin Phoenix he can't sing. He doesn't have a singer's voice, but he can. Yeah, let me rephrase that. He doesn't have a singer's voice, but he can kind of like he can make the scene go, or he can make the I don't fucking know, dude. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be, especially when you put him next to Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. I think they called her something else too. I'll say this about her: she's a good actress and she can sing, but for most of the movie, it's just like she was singing under her breath or whatever. She there was only a couple times where she was like, rah, 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 rah. But I think her as Harley Quinn is cool. It's just kind of weird. She didn't do too much other than obsess over Joker. She sang a little bit. You know, they got into trouble. They were both bad influences on each other, and she was like lying to him the whole time. It was weird. It was a different take on Harley, but I appreciate the different take. However, it was just not. It was not the best. It was not the best. I could admit that. But the music was not bad. Let's get that out of the way. The plot, however, was weird. It was just not there. There was not a lot going on. We went from Arthur Fleck like adjusting to life in Arkham or in the hospital or whatever, and then we went to his court case, and there was like no real like trajectory of where the movie was gonna go. And so I was like, okay, well, what's after the court case? And it's like, oh no, the rest of the movie is gonna be like this. I was like, all right. So it just felt there wasn't a lot of structure there, and I also didn't think that we should have brought all these other characters that are from the DC universe into these movies because they just don't matter. Like you should have just put Joker, Harley, and that's it. Even in the first one, like they mentioned Thomas Wayne, they showed Bruce and Alfred. Alfred was kind of tripping a little bit in that first movie. I'm not gonna lie, but they show Alfred. They showed Bruce's parents getting packed up, and it's just like I don't know. It just didn't go with the movie. Like if you want to do a Joker movie, just focus on Joker, because it's not gonna really tie into the whole universe that well. But we'll talk about that when we get to the ending of Joker 2. And fuck it, let's just go to it right now. So spoilers, mega spoilers. If you walked out early and you just don't know, if you don't like, fuck that movie, I'm not gonna watch the rest. They ruined it. So if you don't want to know, here's the second spoiler. But so at first I didn't get it. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, what? I was like, is he really? I was like, oh. So he gets packed up, and I remember because they were showing that one dude in the prison way too much. Like I knew he was gonna do something. I thought they were gonna kiss. I'm not gonna lie, but apparently this dude comes in at the very end and stabs Arthur Fleck, and apparently Arthur is the inspiration for what that Joker in that universe is gonna be eventually. And I always thought it was weird too because in the first movie, when I remember I was thinking it too, when Arthur showed up to Thomas's house, and then they showed Bruce, and he's like a little 10-year-old kid. Like, how are these fools are gonna fight? Like, he's gonna be way too old. And apparently, that was a theory too of how the sequel was gonna end. Was that it was gonna be like the inspiration for the next Joker? Um, that was weird. I didn't think it was. I don't know. I don't think it was bad. But it was not. It was. It left a bad taste in my mouth. Pause. I think they could have done it better. I don't know. I don't think they should have done it at all. I don't think they should have kept all these other characters out. Like a lot of these characters should not have had such a significant impact in the story, which they kind of don't. I mean, they had Harvey Dent, but he was doing Harvey Dent stuff. I'm not gonna lie though, that Harvey Dent was kind of a perfect cast because he's got like that smug look on his face. It's like the prosecution rests, Your Honor. Like they casted the dude straight off of his face. He looks just like the cartoon, where he's always like, So that dude was perfect casting. But if they're gonna do that, might as well just bring in more people just to screw people up. They should have threw in like Poison Ivy, Mister Freeze, Grey Ghost. But like I don't know, if they're gonna do that, just go all out. Like don't half-ass it. But yeah, I didn't think it was a bad movie. One thing I saw that made me laugh was that this movie, it was a comment. It was like, this movie is cigarettes and just singing. And I was like, yeah. I remember this fool was smoking it up the whole movie, man. I guess it was like they're trying to make Joker look cool and sophisticated. He's like, because the movie is pretty much just him smoking, him singing, and him dancing. Whatever this is like, yeah, oh my God. I don't know. If I had to rate this one, I'd give it a 7. Honestly, without the singing, it would probably go down because the singing kind of makes it a little more interesting because the story wasn't there. But it's not as bad as people make it out to be. It is pretty bad, but go watch it, go see it for yourself. Please don't hate me for kind of liking this movie. I kind of liked it. But the first one was whatever too, but it was okay. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, blah, 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 and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.